Try one more time. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. My name is Jonathan Diego. I'm Second Vice President of the Hispanic Leadership Association, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here this morning, who didn't take it as robbery to spend part of their Saturday morning here with us as we celebrate the many great things that our Hispanic culture brings to New Jersey and to the United States. Initially, I want to thank you all for being here for our 5th annual Hispanic Leadership Summit. Our summit focus is strengthening the voice of Hispanics in New Jersey. And by attending this summit this morning, all of you are ensuring that our voices are being heard and that our needs and desires and wants are being recognized. There are individuals here that, if it wasn't for their leadership, their perseverance, and their focus, we wouldn't have this event today. And the main person that I'd like to recognize, take a moment to recognize, is my good friend Angel Fuentes. So if we just put our hands together for him, please. I've had the pleasure of knowing Angel for 15 years and consider him one of my very good friends. And when he asked me to be a member of this board a few years ago, I was very humbled. And what I'd like to do before we move along with the agenda today regarding the symposium is let you know that after this scholarship awards symposium and after we have our speakers, I encourage everybody to go outside and network and go about the exhibit booths. These are our sponsors that have tables outside of this ballroom. And again, as alluded to earlier this morning, if it wasn't for our sponsors, we would not be able to have this event today. So please make it a point, as soon as we're done here awarding the scholarships and the speakers are done addressing you, please make it a point to go out to those sponsored tables. Subsequent to that, at 11:30 sharp is when the workshops start, and the workshop will be on this level, the second level, straight across on the other side, the far wall of this level. So please make sure, be prompt, get there before 11:30. I promise you, you won't be disappointed by the speakers and the topics that they discussed this morning. After the workshops, we'll have lunch, and then we'll have a cultural celebration with live entertainment downstairs. I believe Angel will be downstairs in the ribbon cutting area at the stage. You're gonna love it. There'll be music, there'll be dancers, I believe, and you will enjoy yourself. We will take a break, and at 6 o'clock will be the chairman's reception upstairs here, and then we'll have our awards dinner ceremony. The first person that I want to introduce this morning is a great supporter to the Hispanic Leadership Association and has always made it a point to attend our annual Hispanic Leadership Summit. He's a great friend to the Hispanic Leadership Association and the Summit. He's a great friend and incredible colleague and supporter of the Hispanic community. He serves as our representative in the 1st Congressional District. Please put your hands together for Congressman Donald Northwell.
Thank you very much. And I must apologize for a voice. I've been in Washington and there's plenty of things to yell about down there. But first and foremost, Jonathan, thank you for that kind introduction. I got home last night from Washington, and when we talk about what is going on in our great country, it's interesting that we can just point to the differences between DC and New Jersey. First, I can't believe it's been 5 years, Angel, since we were sitting back in our office and you came up with this concept. We were the fighting fifth. Angel, Whip Wilson, and I were all sharing an office representing Camden and Gloucester counties, and Angel wanted to make sure that there was this venue to bring together culturally groups from around the state and to strengthen your voice. And it's grown each and every year in stature and certainly in numbers, and we appreciate what you do. Let's give Angel a round of applause. But when we talk about some of the insanity that has been taking place, was probably 3 weeks ago that Pope Francis came into our country. I had the honor of seeing him twice in Washington, and certainly, as we all know, he came up here to Philadelphia. But Pope Francis had talked about immigration in a world sense. Certainly what's going on in Europe with the refugees coming from Syria and otherwise, and you see an incredible diversity of how each country handles that. From Germany, who is welcoming those, to the Ukraine and other areas who have major challenges. So then we come back here to the United States of America, where we've been talking about comprehensive immigration reform for years, literally, a pathway to citizenship. We go into the cycle where the president is going to be elected in 18 months from now. 18, it's 13 months from now. And you see on the Republican side, a reality show. Who can say something more extreme than the next? Pointing out different pockets of our population and saying you're to blame. So right after Pope Francis left, and left us with a great message of hope and walk away from the politics of division, we had the third most powerful person in this country resign. John Boehner, as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Wasn't a big surprise. He had been getting beat up for a while. So now we're in the process of electing a new speaker. Third most powerful position in this country. And it looks like Ryan is going to be that candidate, who, when we look at some of his positions, it was a place where I think we could work with. He had talked about that comprehensive immigration reform, which was very positive. Now here's the bad news. As part of the deal for him to become speaker, he's agreed not to pursue comprehensive immigration reform. This is the extreme positions that unfortunately we're living with in Washington from day to day. When I was sent down there just about a year ago, I understood I'm only one voice. But that voice is starting to grow with the dissatisfaction of what's going on. Now, in less than a couple weeks, you're going to be able to share your voice. Your voice is your vote here in New Jersey. The downside of that is they're expecting less than 20% turnout. 20% of those who are allowed to vote. The good news for those who have just joined this great melting pot called the United States, have immigrated here, got the legal status, and able to vote. They vote in the 90%. They understand what that means to have that voice, that ability to vote. Wherever they came from, that always wasn't the case. So where's the disconnect? How is it that we take advantage of this great country, yet we won't have our voices and vote at less than 20%? But those who've just joined us are up in the 90% top. That's a challenge that we face every election day. So when we go back to our communities, it is so important that we encourage everybody to get out and vote. Your voice is your vote, and we need to make sure that that happens. So today, I get to share with you just a little bit of what we're doing down in Washington, or what we're not doing. But the second reason I want to be here is to congratulate those scholarship recipients. I understand, as most of you do, that a good education is your ticket to wherever you want to go in this great country. And the fact that you're taking a few moments out of your summit to encourage and to thank and to award those special people scholarship speaks volumes about where your values are. So for those who we're going to hear about in a few minutes, I congratulate you on your scholarships. But that's only the first step. You have to do well in school, and you have to graduate. So hopefully that in a dozen years from now, when we're past the 15th and approaching the 20th, that those scholarship recipients will come back as the new leaders in your communities, to make sure that we're taking the values that we learned here in this summit and sharing them with everybody. So with that, I congratulate again the scholarship recipients, and I want to thank everybody for being here today.
That the U.S. purchasing power is reaching 1.5 to 1.7 trillion, significant numbers. In New Jersey alone, that purchasing power is about 46 billion. It's a significant growth, over 400% growth since 1990, and about 70,000 Latino-owned businesses in the state. That data is from 2007, contributing to about 10 billion in terms of sales and employing close to 50,000 folks here in the state. So those are very significant. Now, as far as the where Latinos sit, as far as religion, Latinos are really changing religion in the U.S. About 1/3 of all Catholics in the United States are Latinos. Even though we see decreasing enrollment and membership in many denominations, including the Catholic Church, we see more Latinos holding on to their faith in Pentecostal churches, evangelical churches. In the U.S., about over 8 million Latinos consider themselves to be evangelical, and 1/3 of the 52 million Latinos here in the U.S. call themselves born again. So religion plays a big part in our culture. And this gentleman put it best. His name is Don Daniel Ortiz. He wrote a book. I had him on my show last week. Wish I could have had him here today, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. But he wrote a book, and basically he says that one of the things that we as Latinos hold dearly are faith, family, and frijoles. But frijoles is just a catch-all phrase for culture, right? We all eat frijoles one form or the other, whether it's fried beans or arroz con gandules, we all eat frijoles. So we hold our culture dearly along with family and faith. Those are important factors.